that's every union.
It's
What
every
union starts out
Well,
like,
SAG
oh, they're
has
so
people. I
mature.
mean, Fran Drescher's could work tomorrow if she wanted to. I'm sure she could pick up any script out of her asshole and say, I'll do this shit ass project. Sure, it's not The Nanny, but I mean, I think Fran probably gets offered parts all the time.
Yeah, but you're comparing Fran won the presidency of a union that's been around since 1930 something. I mean, they when they started SAG-AFTRA in the 30s and 40s, it wasn't because they were being treated great by MGM and Sony Pictures. I mean, please, honey, that came out of incredible abuse that those kids like Judy Garland and Shirley Temple endured to try to be famous. I mean, give me a break. I love her mission, but now the Post, of course, and we know who leaked this, says, well, Bethenny just pitched a reality show to Bravo back in March. So how disgruntled can one be if you got a green light on a project that was apparently going to show, I think, families and daughters in the Connecticut area?
Honey, first of all, Bethenny has a
me.
house in Greenwich, Connecticut, for everybody that doesn't know. And it was going to be, like well-to-do families that also focused on their children. So like Susan Sarandon's daughter, Ava, who lives in Westport. I'm actually originally from Connecticut. So like Greenwich is very wealthy. Westport's very wealthy. It was going to, listen, I thought it sounded like a great reality show. I mean, it wasn't going to be Housewives, but she pitched wealthy families in Connecticut, which does sound like Connecticut Housewives to me, but maybe with a different slant. Susan Sarandon's daughter was in the mix, and Bravo said, okay, go and develop, a pilot, which doesn't really say anything. I mean, that means like go spend your own money and come back to us with something, right? There was no development deal, but yeah, I mean, now it certainly is right. Let's see who leaked this and mystery. It's certainly making it seem like, I mean, this is what happens in lawsuits. This is what us lawyers do. Two sides to every story. It certainly makes Bethenny seem like sour grapes and disgruntled employee because shockingly, the rumor is Bethenny had a falling out with her production company, which, let's face it, you either do it Bethenny's way or there's the highway. And the whole project got stalled, which isn't really Bravo's fault, but it's making it out to seem like Bethenny is sour grapes from not getting this show. It's hard to pitch a show, girl. You and I are on the streets of Hollywood. We know.
It's very difficult. I don't know. I think they're going to come out Bethenny with everything they have. And to be honest, Bethenny has a lot of enemies. She has a lot of enemies. She's not well liked. I told you about the Bunny Barbie. Everybody can follow her on TikTok. She notoriously talks about a deal she had with Bethenny. And Bethenny said, I'm developing a reality show around you, held her in contract for 2 years, didn't do anything, wouldn't return phone calls. I think at that point, owned images of, the Bunny Barbie, wouldn't allow, she couldn't do other opportunities. So basically the Bunny Barbie for 2 years was promised all this stuff, never got it, and lost 2 years to be on other reality shows. Now, it sucks because, I think the Bunny Barbie, I don't know if they didn't have a good lawyer or agent. Most people don't do a 2-year holding agreement without money. Most of the time it's 12 months because that gives the producers time. I know this because I've been working on shows. That 12 months is kind of the standard because it gives the producers time to do a deck, pitch the show, get the talent in front of networks to try to sell the show. And then after that, 12 months, you're usually free to do anything you want. And a year goes by pretty quick. Somehow, Bethenny got her to sign a 2-year deal, and she and her husband were unable to do a lot of
even a year to me is long. I don't know. I don't want to be put on the shelf for a year. I mean, but then, you also go back to like, well, does Bethenny care? Listen, I just need to point out, it's not that Bethenny has money. It's that Paul has money too, her fiance. Paul comes from I've heard some stories. I've heard some stories up there. And, those of us that don't summer in the Hamptons, up there, it's, what is it, Newport, it's very conservative Massachusetts summers. I heard that his family is, listen, again, this is just what I heard, nothing. I heard, his family is very wealthy. He's very wealthy. And, I think their vision for their son's fiance was, proper, Martha Washington at the table, who knows which napkins to use. And I think they wanted their son to come home with like, a very like prim and proper, blonde haired, blue eyed, waspy, go from Massachusetts. And now they got like the bull in the china shop that is Bethenny Frankel. And I think they would also prefer that he doesn't actually marry her, stay together forever. But I don't think his family is so anxious for an actual union of these two people. That's all I'm saying. But he has money too. So when Bethenny says, like, I don't care, I've checked my balance, I'm good. I mean, does she even give a fuck? Like, I don't think she's going to stop losing, winning. I don't think Bethenny's going anywhere this, but Bravo has to be like, and look, a lot of people are like, this is disgusting. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. I think it's interesting that Rinna has come into play, that apparently, she's involved in this and she supports Bethenny, is telling people don't go to BravoCon. And, Bravo is just like, the rumor is that that's it. And Lisa Rinna is dead to us and we'll never have her back. I don't know about that. I don't know about that one.
Oh, I don't think they care. Mary Cosby's back. I think the door is open for a lot of people, maybe with the exception of Brandy now.
And Nene and Bethenny. I think Bethenny too.
Bethenny. Yeah, Bethenny's probably burnt the bridge. Look, in the end, I think Bethenny is entirely correct. I guess I'm getting a little nervous. Like, I don't know if Bethenny is the person to really, I don't know, you have to have a leader that inspires people, that people get behind, that people, that kind of has that it factor, right? Of a Bill Clinton, of a Obama, of
Fran Drescher.
You have to have that kind of thing. And I just don't know if she has it. There's something very divisive about Bethenny. And so I don't know. It's sad because I really hope it works, because I guess I'm a little surprised. I wish people like Candy. Candy's a terrific businesswoman. Of course, she owns other businesses, so she probably doesn't want her own employees to unionize. But, it's sad to see some of these other, I think good for Rinna, because Bethenny is correct. They do need a union, because it's way more like Candy came out and said, well, if I have an issue with production or management, I go right to them and I discuss it and sort it out. Okay, that's great.
What she said on my podcast too. She's like, I'll just call them.
Okay, well, not everybody can do that. People are in different, hierarchies of jobs. And number three, Candy, all these years you've worked for them, you've never gotten health insurance. You've never gotten workman's comp. Now, she's probably supplemented herself, like, through her other businesses. She probably has that. You've never gotten a retirement. You've never gotten a 401k. You don't think that that's wrong? That's
so
wrong.
We feel bad for Candy Burris's $2.8 million salary on Atlanta Housewives.
No, I think Candy is the exception and not the rule. I think, most people and most reality stars are not like Candy. Had a great business sense long before Housewives came knocking. Most people don't have that.
Well, that's Leah Black's argument. Leah Black's argument is Bethenny is, read the article from Leah Black. She's like, and her husband is Roy Black, one of the most famous criminal defense attorneys out there. Again, as I told Leah on my podcast, if I get in trouble, I'm calling Roy Black.